Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins. On this video, just going to look at Bitcoin and XRP. And before I start, if you want to, join my Telegram. We've started something called the $20 Probit challenge, where you basically set up a brand new Probit account up, absolutely fresh, nothing on there at all, so we can track trades. Put $20 in there and basically see what you can do with the bottom end, the lowest of volumes. I mean, anything is completely up to you. We're kind of sharing on the Telegram kind of trade ideas, but it's $20, so you can afford to be reasonably reckless, but don't be stupid, and see what that $20 becomes. So anyway, that's that. Join the Telegram, we can talk you through it. It's nice and easy. And also check out my video that I made the other day about the 4-year XRP cycle. Not many people talk about it. I don't know why, but you might find some value in that, so I'll leave a link above, and obviously I'll leave a link at the end. So let's have a look at Bitcoin first. We've got to understand what's going on with Bitcoin to understand what's going on with XRP. And at the moment, what it looks like to me is that we're basically filling out the ranges. On the daily chart here, we overstretched, and now we're being pushed back down underneath the center of the Bollinger Band, basically the 21 moving average. Because of that, there is a chance that we will then come back down, whether that be tonight or tomorrow, to continue with this bottom side of the range. Now, these wicks are very wicky, right? So there's a lot of buying pressure down at these levels. And really, if we see things like that, it suggests that actually it might not want to go much lower. It's going to take a monumental dump, in fact, to actually crush it down lower, or I suppose heavier candle bodies to break it down lower. At the moment, we're above most of our moving averages, struggling to get above this green 50 exponential, but it's actually looking okay. So we filled the CME gap that was above us. The one below us, you could argue that it was filled. It doesn't have to fill the whole gap, even though if you're a purist, and I suppose in a lot of ways I like to think I am, it would be nice to see the whole gap filled, but it wasn't. What happened was that it just touched the top of the range. It's about a $200 range there, so it touched that top and bounced off. So for many people, they might say that actually that's fine. For me, the CME gap has been filled, but I have to say, if you're a believer in the gaps, there are many more gaps down here. There's a gap around 7,005, I believe, and also another one all the way down here, about 3,500 during this period down here. There's a gap down there, so let's not get too excited about gaps, unless of course you're calling for a dump. So Bitcoin, like I say, trading within the range. Now we go to a weekly just to give it a bit of a understanding of what's going on. We're actually looking pretty good still on the weekly, finding support on the center of the Bollinger Band and above all major moving averages, apart from the 10 simple, which is just ever so slightly above us. The weekly looks good, but the MACD, I've noticed, is looking pretty bearish on the weekly. This doesn't mean it is bearish. We've seen this sort of movement before, but it's getting very, very close to ourselves. So this week has to be a good week, because if it's not a good week, then it will set us up for probably a month or two, or maybe even longer, of continued downtrend. So we've got to be careful what we wish for. If we are calling for dumps and CME gaps to be filled, you might kick yourself, because then it is likely that we'll see some of those, if not, I'm not saying all of them, but maybe one, the next one down at 7,500, that one will get filled also, because this will likely cause a continuation of a longer term downtrend. So let's be careful what we wish for. But generally it looks like it's okay, and perhaps it will continue to bounce. When we look at the dollar index here, what we're seeing, this is a lot of the markets, because I do trade traditional markets from time to time when the opportunities are made clear. I do like to trade some of those guys, and what I've noticed is that across the board everything seems to be balancing on how the dollar's trading. So if the dollar continues to look weak overall, then everything seems to go up, because everything else still has its price, but if the dollar is lower, that price escalates because it's an inflated price. The price remains the same, but the value of it is less, therefore the pips are higher, if that makes sense. So what's been going on here is that people are getting a little afraid that I say afraid, but I suppose that's the appropriate term. People are getting a bit afraid that the dollar is actually going to bounce from here, and if it does bounce from here, and if it does actually rally from here, which most people, and like I say, I mean, most top analysts, but if you listen to a lot of these guys, I think they're paid to say certain things to try and keep the market up. It's in their best interest to do that. They're given a platform that, you know, they want to keep the market up, they want to ride it. But a lot of the main players are more quite optimistic that the dollar will continue to show weakness in this short period of time, meaning that stocks, Bitcoin's commodity, all of that will continue up. But we're at a crucial level here, and if you look at the way that it's been since the outbreak, okay, so the dollar went crazy, then it just completely crashed. So this basically has been if you look at this, it's kind of the inverse of what's been going on with stocks and also with crypto. So we've just been going, the dollar has lost all this value all this time, and it's coming to a level now, and we'll zoom out on this. It's coming to a level now which is reasonably crucial for it, because if it does continue to go much lower than this, it will have major repercussions in the long term for basically the world, but especially America, because it will be going down really too low. 2018 hit these lows, but generally speaking, we found a lot of bounces around about the level that we are at right now. So I think there is a chance that this will bounce here, you see, and we're looking at and this isn't really the way to look at this. You need to look at this long term, because everything on the dollar, I suppose, you've got to work out what's going long term. When I say long term, I'm talking a few months from here. We really are bottoming out, it would appear, at this level, and if we do break down from here, it will be significant, because everything will rally, but then the impact of that will be felt in the long term for America, and obviously for the rest of the world. So we're not really here to talk about the dollar, but it is very important. Everything is valued with this dollar, and so if the dollar keeps going down, and if it goes down even further, everything will rally up. If the dollar decides to bounce from here, even if it just bounces by $1 or so, it will be bad for everything. We're looking at Bitcoin dominance as well. This is, I promise, we'll look at XRP, but when we look at Bitcoin dominance is going up. If you look across the board for alts across the board, generally speaking, most of them are pretty red. XRP is holding up quite well actually. So for those pessimists out there, XRP is not looking too bad on the face of it. But the dominance is continuing up, and I would expect that even in the face of a dump or a pump, I think alts have had their day for the minute. XRP might be one of the exceptions. There's always going to be exceptions. XRP's strength at this level seems to be actually okay, but like I say, we've got to bear in mind a few things. XRP tails alongside Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is at the mercy of the dollar. The dollar is king, unfortunately. For those who think Bitcoin is king, then it's not king. The dollar is still king, and the king will decide what it wants to do with the world economy soon. And so basically keep your eye on the dollar. That's all I'm saying here. So let's look at XRP. So XRP fell out of this massive blue box territory. This is our major resistance level, and we had a good stab at it and we couldn't break it, and we came smashing back down from that, and now we're kind of looking a lot lower than the way Bitcoin is now. Similar to Bitcoin, looks like we haven't yet got it. Bitcoin has got that. It looks like we do want to make that cross on the MACD on the daily, and in fact I would probably say that this time tomorrow, if we don't dump tonight, that cross will be made. Doesn't mean it's bullish, it means that it's turning bullish. We're still beneath the 0 point, which is bearish, even though the changeover, the histogram, the cross is a bullish signal, but not one to be used on its own. And now if we're looking at the RSI, we've come down quite a lot through dumping. This isn't in any way progressive. What we want to see now is some decent higher highs being formed, and at the moment really we don't have anything like that. So it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look all that bad. It looks reasonably strong around this area, and the fact is we're holding above the 200 exponential, which is still around about that 23 cent. 23 cent basically being the main level of support for us. If we break down below there, it would be nasty. We're talking about 20 cent or lower, maybe 19.5 cent to 20 cent. And that would be our major bounce area, I'd say, if we did break down from it. Now on the daily we are beneath the centre of the Bollinger Band, which is not good. It means that we're likely to stay beneath there. We're being rejected from this Ichimoku cloud also, so there's a lot of rejection points and there's a lot of resistance above us at these levels. And if you look at the weekly actually looks pretty scary, because we were within this giant cloud area here, this entire cloud all the way up to basically where we were being rejected from, at the top where the candles are closing, is all resistance. Is a massive resistance cloud. Technically you don't really want to be trading within a resistance cloud, and we're barely in there, getting rejected from the 10 simple here. You see we've had support there, rejections here and here, and so the weekly is also saying to us, let's be careful with this one. Yes, there is strength around 23 cent, around about this level here, more or less. Kind of it doesn't really coincide, but the bottom of this should also offer support. The MACD on the weekly is better looking than the one for Bitcoin, but it's still looking a little concerning as well. So what I would say is, with all of this, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting any trades in at the moment, because until the dollar has decided to either break out of this formation to the up or break to the down, it's pretty scary. It does, however, I should say, it does look like it wants to range within this level for a bit longer. That means that we can trade against the dollar with other assets. So if the dollar's having a down day, if it breaks down beneath this center and continues down to here, then the stocks, everything will rally again. As soon as we hit this level down here, then we'll be bearish on stocks, commodities, crypto again. But it is looking like it could turn around, but for the moment it's ranging, and we have got a new higher high here. So, and actually when we're looking at these supports, these buybacks on the dollar, these wicks, it does look like it could actually pop and not rally, but show that it's not as weak as we or everybody seems to think it is. And if that is the case, and I know that the Fed have a lot of control over this kind of thing, and they can bring the dollar back down again if they needed to, but I think they're getting a little concerned themselves that they can't continue doing that for too long, because the effects will be felt in the long term. But the lower the dollar, the higher the crypto, and so on and so on. So at the moment I am basically looking at the dollar before I look at anything else, and I suggest that maybe you get into the habit of doing that too, because at this moment in time, this is what everything is being traded on. It's all being traded, with the dollar in the back of their mind. A weak dollar means strong stocks, commodities and crypto, and a strong dollar means the opposite. All right. I'll leave it with you there anyway. I think I've pretty much put my point across, but as far as XRP is concerned, it's reasonably strong in this area, and it is ranging itself, but it's not. Nothing at the moment is looking to like it wants to go a great deal higher in the very short term, because everything balances on this, and we want to see where this goes every single day. We need to check what's going on with the dollar. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day or evening or night. Take it easy.